Welcome to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast, where we provide constant improvement to businesses through timely, actionable financial solutions. Do you want answers to your financial questions? Email us at bsp@kaizencpas.com. I'm your host, Mark Valesky. Now let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Kaizen Time. I'm joined by Clay Hamlin, a partner here at the firm. Clay, what are 3 things that you were hoping to do today? Was I on the list? Just, I'm asking for myself.
Okay. Can we pause this thing for a second?
Yes. We are now unpaused. What are the 3 things on your list?
Okay. Work with you.
Yes. Okay.
I exchanged a cell phone. I needed to return the old one.
Okay.
And the third one is to work out some process with Mark and Amy on our deal with the Institute.
Okay. And how are those going, by the way? I know the first one's checked off.
I have 2 done so far. The
Okay.
third one will happen at dinner tonight.
Perfect. So it sounds like it's going to be a very successful day.
It will be. The 3 things I had on my list for this morning, these must be done today, will be done.
Okay. And where did this 3 things per day list come from?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I was watching a podcast called The Diary of a CEO, a guy named Stephen Garnett.
Love that guy.
I highly recommend it. I saw him interviewing. The only downside to his podcast is they're 2 hours. So you better
Buckle in.
Buckle up, yeah. But there's so much good information. He was interviewing Kevin O'Leary, who is known as like Mr. Wonderful on Shark Tank. Maybe you've seen him, Canadian guy. And of course, they're all billionaires, blah, 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 all this stuff. So he was talking about his time when he was working with Steve Jobs from Apple.
Yep.
And also Elon Musk. He hasn't really worked with him, but he has heard a lot about him.
Okay.
So he was kind of describing like what thing sets them apart and makes them so fantastically successful. And his comment was, every day they have a list of things that they do, and they are laser focused. As a business owner, a lot of things come at you during the day. Mm-hmm. You get an email, a threat here, or you get an email, an opportunity there, or you look at something and you go, oh, we need to improve on that. And there's all this noise that happens. Or a customer comes in, oh, we need to get this done now. But in order to drive the success of the business owner needs to drive the success of the business, not necessarily fix all the problems or address all the shiny new things that come in and hit you every day.
That's huge, by the way.
And what he was saying is that Musk and Jobs were absolutely laser focused on what they needed to get done that day, and they would not allow anybody to get in their way on those things, to the point where they could be kind of rude. And I'm not suggesting that we should all be rude, or that business owners in general are rude or something like that. What I am suggesting, though, is that any business owner that starts the day and doesn't have any idea what 3 things or what 4 things need to be done that day in order to drive their business to greater success will live in mediocrity. I'm convinced that this is a real thing, because, and I've seen this a lot, because we about 3 or 4 years ago we started on this program called EOS. It's called the Entrepreneurial Operating System. Mm-hmm. But one of the things it does is it sets quarterly, what are called quarterly rocks.
Yep.
Right, and in those rocks, those are sort of big things to do for the business. And we've got 5 or 6 people on our management team. So that's like anywhere from 15 to 25 or so big things getting done each quarter. When you start multiplying that over like 4 or 5 years, now all of a sudden a lot of great things are happening. And the great things that happen tend to create more great things that happen. Like for example, a firm with, say, 10 clients versus a firm with 400 clients, which one do you think has more opportunities?
I'd say the bigger one.
The bigger
More
one.
clients. Yeah.
More clients. Just stuff comes up. You know more people. You're interacting with more things.
Right.
And the same thing happens. And as a kid, my dad said to me, one thing leads to another. And now I kind of get what he's talking about. At the time he was saying, hey, if you learn how to become good at hockey, maybe this will make you also good at golf, or you're good at football, maybe that also makes you good at baseball. Who knows how that works, but or at least in particular, in business, if you start knocking off over a period of time things that are really elevating your business, guess what happens after 2 or 3, 4 years? You've really raised the bar a lot, and so now the upward trajectory is faster than it was early on when you're first starting this.
Right.
So these 3 things is a sort of an analogy of what we're talking about with EOS. Every day you have 3 things. They may not be big things. They may not be like a quarterly rock, but there are 3 things that you need to get done today. It's nice if you can align those, by the way, with your quarterly rocks come back to maybe a weekly to do, down to a daily to do that. And if those 3 things are in alignment, that's even better. But at least if you can have, say, 3 things or 4 things to do and at least have some of those in alignment with your business goals, now you've put a force multiplier not just in documentation, which we talked about, but now in terms of the business actually improving and becoming better. And that, again, has its own sort of force multiplier in that as the business gets better, it actually becomes better faster.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this all makes sense. And a lot of this is like synergizes, right?
Yes.
So as you mentioned with business, there's a lot of relationships. Hey, you meet this client. That client leads to another client. This client can lead to another one.
Sure.
So it all kind of builds on itself. So it makes total sense. And to kind of add to this, I mean, we talk a lot on this podcast for businesses and business owners. This can apply to just normal people too. So yes, you may have your 3 things to do today for the business, right?
Yes.
You may say, I have 3 things to do for myself too. And that personally improves you, right? Hey, I want to go to the gym. Hey, I want to read a book. Hey, I want to just, take 30 minutes to relax. And those have benefits too, but you have to be like intentional.
You have to be intentional. And that is probably a great word for this whole thing, is just being intentional about what you're doing and not letting the noise dictate your intentionality. You're dictating your own intentionality, at least as far as 3 things. That's it.
Yeah, some people may not like what I'm about to say, which is fine. But by noise, to me, that's, hey, I'm just going to look at my phone for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, I don't even know. But it's that nothing that is being achieved. You're just consuming information without being intentional. You're letting the information decide what you're seeing. But when you can kind of, it's almost like getting in the car, and I'm not going to touch the steering wheel though, right? Like you have to be intentional. You don't get in the, Clay, when you got in the car, did you know where you were going to go today?
I did. But you think about it, it's another good analogy. If, like, every day, if you got in a car and just drove somewhere, like you didn't know where you were going to go, just, I'm going to drive for half an hour, then wherever I end up, is to some degree what I think a lot of business owners do from a operational standpoint in their business. If you don't come in with, hey, these are three things that I need to get done, then it's whatever outside forces are driving you as what is getting your attention. So if you're driving and someone cuts you off, well, maybe if I don't have any particular way to go today, I'll just go this way because they're sort of nudging me out of this lane.
You're just responding.
Responding. Yeah. And if that's how you run your business, is I'm just responding all the time, you're not bringing any sort of discipline of any sort of goals into it. And then how are we going to actually achieve those goals?
Makes perfect sense. Anything else you want to add about these 3 things?
No.
Perfect.
I think that's good. Thanks, Mark. Great question.
Clay. You've been listening to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast. If you like what you heard, subscribe and leave a 5-star review. This podcast has been brought to you by Kaizen CPAs Plus Advisors, providing advisory and accounting services to help you grow your business. Learn more at kaizencpas.com or email us at bsb@kaizencpas.com.